Still waiting on viewers. While we're waiting on viewers, I'm going to set up my tripod. Yes, perfect. Turn on my ring light. Can you turn on? Thank you. Anyway, we're still waiting on viewers. Ooh, this looks scary. I like it. We're still waiting on viewers. Where are all the viewers? And what is this doing? Okay, we still have no viewers. There are still no... Oh, we have one viewer. Hello. Greetings. Oh, wow. We have more than one viewer. Why does it only say there's one viewer in here? What in the hecketh? We definitely have more than one viewer because a lot of people are commenting. I almost sat down and missed this chair. Anyway. Can y'all hear me okay? Because I don't want to be buffering and stuff. Hello in New Zealand. It's just... Oh, now we have 31 viewers. Okay. Hello. Greetings. If you'll notice, I've been posting a lot more on YouTube lately. It is because TikTok has been ripping me off with paying me as a creator, and I'm frankly tired of it. I've posted every day on TikTok since October of 2020, minus the first week my account was banned. So I didn't post for a week because my first TikTok account got banned at 880,000 followers on July 4th of 2022 when I was 22 years old for age verification. I appealed that and they denied my appeal. So I had to make another TikTok a week later, and I built that one up to 1.2 million followers. But TikTok can't seem to pay me like they should. So I don't have a 9-to-5 because my job is content creation for y'all. And I rely on the TikTok income to live off of and also buy more stuff for my videos. And when TikTok pays you 1 month $3,000 to $4,000 and they do that consistently, and then the next month they just pay you $327, it's really unpredictable and it's very hard to make content that way. So I just started building my YouTube like probably last week. I started posting every day, and I've already accrued like $427 in this short time. And like I was really surprised because people kept telling me I need to come to YouTube, and I was like, I know. But the problem I had and why I didn't transition to YouTube sooner is because TikTok and Instagram like horizontal or vertical format, whereas YouTube likes a horizontal format, so it's full screen. And I didn't really know how to make my videos work in one single take, and I can't really bake a cake twice at different angles because I'd have to record that video twice and make 2 cakes. So I figured out how to make it work. And also I tried to enlist help, but again, I can't pay people because I don't have enough money coming in. But anyway, so what I ended up doing is I flipped the camera horizontal, and for Instagram and TikTok, I just put text above and below the video, and I say go to my YouTube. So that's what I've been doing. Anyway, and I guess it's working, so to take over the world soon. Anyway, I'm going to play the square piano for y'all because I'm sure y'all are bored of me talking. But let me just kick these screwdrivers one more time, and then I will play the square piano for you. I tuned this yesterday. I tuned it by ear. It's not perfect. But anyway, here we go. So this piano is 150 years old. I wonder where you are tonight, my love, as all alone I sit and dream. I wonder if your heart's with me tonight, and if the same stars for you gleam. I Let me take my tripod with me. Let me not shock myself on that plug. I need to fix it. Anyway, and then after I play this other piano, I will take y'all to the site of where the new magnifying transmitter will be. Talk amongst yourselves if you don't know what that is, and people will probably answer your questions and stuff because I'm busy ADD and turning on lights and stuff. Okay, let me play this piano. Now, remember, I told you I have 8 pianos, so this is the second one. The other one's over there. They're not all here. This is my dad's house, so my 8 pianos are not all here. This is one of them. This is my baby grand. I have the square piano. I have that Baldwin one over there. I have a player piano in a storage kind of by my grandma's house. I have a player piano in the storage at my grandma's house. I have another piano in the storage at my grandma's house. I have a piano at the soda fountain downtown, and I have a piano at the hotel in Jacksonville. So that's 8 pianos. Anyway, let me play this one. I'll play my song that I wrote. And let me turn on the ring light. Okay, there we go. Ooh, that video quality is terrible. You know what? We're going to make it work. Okay. So this piano is from the 30s. Also, I have a letter that I got in the mail from a fan, and I haven't read it yet. My dad said it came. I don't even know how they knew this address. But you know what? I have fan mail. Okay, I'm going to play my song and quit ADDing. Actually, I'm going to do it on the black note. No, just kidding. I'm going to do it on the white notes. Wow. I think I'm going to do Mr. Sandman. Should I sing the first part? Should I not sing the first part? I'll probably butcher this if I sing it, but you know what? I'm going to try. Mr. Sandman, bring me Say hi.
No.
Say hi. My dad is camera shy, I guess. Anyway, let's go see the spot where the new magnifying transmitter will sit. And you know what? I guess I can take y'all off this tripod. Okay. China and Sporty. I just said that.
Oh.
China and Sporty. Sporty and China. Spartacus and China. Okay, let's go. Nearby. Okay. Why are y'all looking at me like that? Okay. Let's go see where the new magnifying transmitter will sit. Okay, let me flip the camera. Okay, we're going out to the spot where the new magnifying transmitter will sit. So it's actually going to sit right on top of this well that me and my dad and his crew dug. So there's the water down there. Let me get some water out of it. I haven't in a good minute. Ooh, it rained in there. Okay. Okay. It is so hard to sink this bucket. Get in there. Sink. Okay. Any day now, this bucket will sink into the water. Here it goes. And it's sinking. Okay. I think we just hit the bottom. Okay, yeah, that's the bottom. Okay. Let me get it out of here with one hand. These bricks aren't even mortared yet. So I really hope I don't drop a brick down here. Or my phone, because that would be really bad. There is some water. I don't know where my little cup went, because I used to have a cup out here. Please don't fall in. If I fell in, I'd have to climb out. It wouldn't be fun. Anyway, it's only 15 feet deep. So we hit water at 13 feet 2 inches. Sorry, I keep turning my phone. I'm forgetting that shutting off the camera. But yeah, no, we hit water at 13 feet and 2 inches. I just stepped in mud. What the heck? And it hasn't even rained. How rude! Ugh. But yeah, no, 13 feet 2 inches. I don't know where my cup is. Yum. But yeah, so I bet you're wondering why there's a well there. Well, let me tell you. Pardon the pun. Anyway, so that well is going to be the ground bond for the magnifying transmitter. So basically, you notice I used a metal case here. There's a good reason for that. And that metal case, if you notice, touches the water table. Another good reason for that. So, most people don't realize this, but the magnifying transmitter uses the earth to transmit the electricity, not the air. So, and you have to tune in to the harmonic of Earth's natural electrical frequency. Once you do that, you can ring the earth electrically like you can ring a bell with a clapper, except instead of a bell and a clapper, this is the earth and the magnifying transmitter. So, you're pumping power into the primary tank circuit of the magnifying transmitter, which tunes it, because a tank circuit, inductance, capacitance, is how you tune an electrical resonant circuit. Once you tune it, it's basically a giant air core resonant transformer. So the primary is the inductor, as well as the primary for a transformer. So there are coils that sit above your primary coil, and it's just like a transformer, except there is no iron core, so you can ring it out at a certain frequency. So one end of the coil that sits above the primary has to go to the ground. That is the perfect low impedance ground, and it touches the water table. The water table because it has mineral-bearing water, conducts very well, and the earth conducts. That's why that people drive ground rods into the ground. Well, that's a giant ground rod, and it touches the water table, so it has minimal electrical resistance. Anyway, so with that being said, this is going to wring the earth out like a belt. Now, to receive this electricity, you will have to wind a receiver coil. This is just an example. Say this is a receiver coil. So your longer coil would be wound up to a fourth of the wavelength of the frequency that I'm transmitting at, or it would match the length of the secondary coil on the magnifying transmitter. The bottom of the coil, the receiving coil, would be grounded to the earth, and you'd wrap a coil around this, and that would be your secondary, which is where you would draw power out of it. So it would be like a step-down transformer connected to the earth, and you would need it to be a step-down transformer because it's very efficient at what it does when it's tuned correctly. But no, that is how this works in a nutshell. And of course, you always have the people argue with you saying, that's not possible, you didn't really do that, and blah, 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 blah. Science isn't about he said, she said, so therefore it is. It's about doing the work and having a hypothesis, performing the experiment to prove or disprove if it works. And I know it works, but you can argue otherwise, but you haven't done the work if you want to argue with me. So I've seen it firsthand. Anyway, so science isn't about I think, it's about I know. So, yeah. Anyway, any questions? I almost stepped in dog poop. That would have been really bad. Questions? So, actually, I self-taught myself. So I was very curious as a child. Of course, my dad is a master electrician with his own company. He taught me how to wire outlets and switches. When I was 3 years old, I wired my first outlet. I got shocked for the first time at 2 years old when I reached into the wall and I touched something. I don't even remember what I touched. I was 2. But I do remember getting shocked, and my dad was holding me when it happened. Anyway, so there's that. But from there, I was always curious, and I'd always ask people why about everything. So I read a lot of books. Anyway, I love electrical books and stuff. So I read like electrical books, just like any science books. I love to read those. So anyway, it's basically like, and then when people would say, do not try this at home, I'm like, why would you tell me that? Now I'm going to try it. So I would do it. Like one time I made explosives, nitroglycerin. Anyway, that's actually one of my YouTube videos. But yeah, so I did that, and just like, curiosity. But yeah. And a lot of people always ask me, did I go to college? I actually went to 1 semester of college, and I studied history and music theory. That was in 2019. I did go to public school, and I graduated in, I think it was 2018 or 19, so I forgot. You know what? My diploma's inside. I better go look at that. Because somebody was asking me that the other day. They were like, we need you to graduate. I'm like, Anyway, but, no, I went to college. 1 semester of college. And I did not music theory or history. So, and then I didn't go back because the pandemic happened and we had to go to online. Did you eat all those cherry things? All the cherry things? Who did then? You just set your stuff on it. I had one.
I did eat the rest.
How the heck? I need to take that with me.
When are you leaving?
Tomorrow.
The cleaning lady's here tomorrow.
I probably need to go get that door tomorrow, I guess.
If you can find
And I've got to go to the Perry Museum.
Okay.
But anyway, my high school diploma, here it is. I'm still live.
On what?
YouTube. I graduated in, this does not even have the year. Oh, 2019, June 2nd. That's when I graduated. I graduated in 2019. I knew that. But yeah, anyway, so there's that. But what are y'all doing? So yeah, but no, I didn't go back to college because of the pandemic. And we had to go to online school, and I remember sitting, there was a different couch here. I remember sitting here on the computer, and this was me on the first day of online school. I'm going to school. I'm going to school. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. And I got up, and I sent electricity wirelessly 918.6 miles from Carrollton, Texas, here to Chicago, Illinois. But I accomplished that in 2021. So I started building the machine in 2019, and I tinkered on it until I got that. Now, the machine that I sent, or the magnifying transmitter that I used to send that electricity, was not ideal in any way. So the extra coil was seriously out of whack. It basically, if y'all have seen the video where I have that little small coil of wire on my table and I have a signal generator, the magnifying transmitter is like that, but it's on a massive scale and it uses the earth and the air. So basically what you want, okay, let me explain this first. So everything in the universe is vibrating. So we have atoms and molecules, protons, neutrons, electrons. That means that everything is electricity, positive and negative charges. Now, if we take that into consideration, everything must have a frequency, except direct current, because that's weird. Anyway, but yeah, so everything has a frequency and it alternates, like alternating current, like AC. So with AC alternates back and forth or vibrates back and forth. Now, we can understand the relation of wavelength and frequency if we have the still surface of water. Now, frequency is vibration over time. This can be vibration over time when I throw this on the water. Watch what happens with the waves. This is going to be wavelength and frequency. Frequency is when this hits the water. Wavelength is a result. There go the waves right there. That is wavelength. That is frequency and wavelength. Now, if you tap that over and over, you get a certain wavelength. So, see the waves are still going in the pool? Look, they're making it all the way to the other end. That is basically what the magnifying transmitter is doing in the earth. But it's putting a wavelength into the earth. A wavelength that the earth already naturally produces. It's just magnifying it, basically. But anyway, okay. So yes, everything is vibrating. Now, if we take an opera singer singing at a glass's resonant frequency, everything has a resonant frequency. If we take an opera singer singing and matching a glass's resonant frequency, you can see the glass shatter when they reach the resonant frequency at the right amplitude. So anyway, now we can replace the opera singer with X and the glass with Y. X is the source that generates the frequency that you're trying to achieve, and Y is the object you're trying to affect, basically, with its resonant frequency. So it could be electrically now instead of with sound and glass. But that's just an example. Anything in the universe can be plugged into this thing. But, equation, not magnifying transmitter. But anyway, so that's that. What I'm doing here is I am making an electrical frequency with the magnifying transmitter that is a harmonic of Earth's natural electrical frequency and using the Earth to transmit that. So it's ringing the Earth like a bell, basically, if that makes sense. So the whole Earth vibrates with that frequency. If you have two tuning forks of the same frequency, you hold one here and you hit this one will start vibrating. Well, I am tuning into Earth's existing frequency and making it vibrate so that the receiver coils can pick up this signal anywhere on the Earth, if that makes sense. But yeah. Are y'all with me so far, or have I lost y'all? Some things I say just go over people's heads, and I'm like, it's really simple. Just listen and pay attention. Yes, eventually I will. This is a small Wardenclyffe tower. It's scaled down but it's what was under Wardenclyffe Tower, like at the base of Wardenclyffe Tower. Of course, Tesla, with his Wardenclyffe Tower, his was 187 feet tall, and he had a 300-foot well under it, which there is my well. My well is only 15 feet deep, and my magnifying transmitter is only going to be 12 feet in diameter here, because that's all that funding will allow. I've never had like investors or anybody, and I mentioned at the beginning of this live how TikTok has never paid me good. That's been like my only source of income since like 2022. I used to work at a hotel, but it burned on June the 12th of 2022. So anyway, but my only source of income is my content, and usually from TikTok, but TikTok has not been paying me very well, and they're all over the place, and people have been telling me, go to YouTube. So I finally listened to them, and that is why I've been posting more. So expect to see a lot more of me, because I've posted every day on TikTok since October of 2020 on my first account, which was banned on July 4th of 2022. Then a week later, I made my new account. I went up to 1.2 million followers, and I still post on there every day. So if I can do that for TikTok and they don't want to treat me right, I'm coming here and I'm going to post every day just like that. So expect more great things, and YouTube likes to pay me better. I started building this account like a week ago, and I've already accumulated $427 in like a week, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's clear that YouTube values its creators. So anyway, but yeah, so expect great things like me taking over the world. Did I say something? Oops. But yeah, no. So that's what's going on. Yep. So once I accumulate, so I've estimated the platform will cost $1,500 to build. Once I have the platform built, I have pretty much everything else. I have 8-gauge wire to wind a secondary with. I have these insulators. These insulators cost me an arm and a leg. So each of these was $35 each, and I had to have 18 of them. It was like, I think this is the most expensive part. Actually, no, the platform's probably going to be, ooh, excuse me. But anyway, and then of course, I have the supports in this shed. There they are. Those will be cut down to 4-foot sections. And it's going to stand right above that well. So the platform will be built right up here. And it's going to come out to over here. And the center will be right there. The extra coil is going to sit right up here. The platform will be raised 2 feet high to avoid influence from the ground. The electricity is going to try and get to the ground because that's what it does. That is why the whole assembly after the platform will have to sit on those insulators. Anyway, and then in the wood, I'm going to have to like notch the side of the supports and put in either, I'll probably put in some HDPE or something, high density polyethylene, to keep the wires from arcing in the wood and making carbon trails and stuff in the wood. Or I might use like porcelain or something. I don't know. You know, if cleats, like the knob and tube cleat things were still readily available, that would be perfect. But they're not, so I got to use what I have. I mean, I have knobs over here from knob and tube wiring, but they have nails in them. So, yeah. Anyway, there's that. But yeah, that tree has gotten tall. So is that one. You know, I planted these trees out here. When I planted this one, it was only like, I think it was 9 feet tall. I planted it in 2015. It was 9 feet tall, and it was like the last branch went from the trunk to like right there, and it stopped. This thing has gotten big, and I've gotten old. And then I'm sure some people are wondering, where's the haunted house? So a tornado came through here and blew it down. That is the base where the wood stove sat in the haunted house. The walkway is right here. You can still see some of it right there. You would walk to right about here and then go this way, and the ladder would have sat right here. You would have walked up into the haunted house here. The parlor would have been up this way. But yeah, no, a tornado came through and blew it over. It stayed in one piece after it fell, but we disassembled because we stood it back up and it fell over again, and it still was in one piece. But we disassembled it. But yeah, so there's that. Somebody wants to know about the gas fixtures. I will make another video on the gas fixtures. Once I get my museum house, I plan to install them. So for those of y'all just joining, I'm looking. Well, I've got to get the funds raised first, but I'm trying to buy a Victorian house, preferably built in the 1890s. And then I want to take it back exactly how it was. I want to live there as well. Make it like I live there, but it's going to be a museum and a bed and breakfast. And I'm going to kind of decorate it in the style of my apartment, except it's going to be 10 times better than how my apartment is decorated. I won't have the ugly tile ceilings, like the asbestos tile ceilings. And I won't have like air conditioning, like just distracting from the views and stuff. I really want to install like cast iron steam radiators and stuff because I love steam. And I don't think anything compares to steam heat, because in the winter, when most people are cranking their heaters on with gas flames, they don't realize gas dries out the air, or the flames dry out the air. With steam, you have a flame in a central location, like in a basement, but then it heats with steam. So the steam rises from that and then transfers all that heat to the radiators, which whistle and let moisture out into the air and keeps your skin nice and fresh during the winter instead of sucking the life out of you like a gas flame in the winter. It keeps the air humid and hot, so it's good for your skin, and it doesn't make your nose bleed when you turn on the heater. But yeah, anyway, so I'll install steam radiators, and I'm gonna I'll have everything authentic down to the wood stove in the kitchen and the gas fixtures that will light the halls and stuff. I might even have an acetylene generator in the basement, which takes calcium carbide and drips water on it to generate acetylene. That's what they used to use before like gas was standard. And yeah. Anyway, so before city gas, they would generate their own gas. But yeah, so that's that. Y'all want to see the control room of the magnifying transmitter? Okay, so there's that. There's the switch. And there's this knife switch. Then I have my General Electric ampermeter. This is the switch that goes to the light. I did all this electrical in the knob and tube style. But these are called looms right there. They go into the switches. People were concerned when I wired that switch in my apartment. So some people thought that I still had the old knob and tube wire, which no, that wire's been updated to Romex. But I do know how knob and tube works, and I do know how to do it. So basically with knob and tube, their goal, like somebody said, oh, is that the old bare wires and stuff? First of all, in the knob and tube days, they did not use bare wires. They used tinned copper wire that was covered with rubber and then wrapped with cloth. The reason they used tinned copper is so that they could solder the connections. Like when they would connect wires like that, they twist them together and then solder it and then tape over it with friction tape. And so that was how they made a permanent connection. It was soldered. So then, to keep the wires off of combustible surfaces, they would use knobs like those to pass them through. Combustible surfaces. I've got to find one. Hang on. They would use tubes. So knob and tube is where that name comes from. Now to pass, instead of junction boxes back in the day, they didn't use junction boxes. What they would do is pass the wires through the wall in two separate spots, because see how the hot and the neutral are separated by a distance? So what they would do is when they wanted to come into a switch or a light fixture, they would separate the wires and then bring them through two holes they drilled and put looms on the wire. That's what these are. These are asphalt dipped cloth. They would pass the looms through and the wires would go inside of that. Sometimes they weren't asphalt dipped cloth, they were asphalt dipped asbestos. But anyway, these look like asbestos. They might be, I don't know. Anyway, so that's how they would pass it through. Now, to get a wire down to a switch, they used to have little turnstile switches. That's why they would say turn on the lights or turn off the lights, because you would turn the switches. In fact, I have one. Let's go inside and I'll show you. But so to get the wires down to the switches, they'd use these things called cleats. They're little porcelain bars that look like this. They're just like a little bar. So you bring the wire from the ceiling down, and then right before it goes into the switch, you put behind the switch, there was a base, like a porcelain base to mount the switch on. You'd bring it in with two looms into the back of your base, and then the switch would go right there. But yeah, let me show you this switch. So the original switches looked like this. And that is why they would say turn on the lights. And actually it has a little on-off thing. So if you look right there, and it says on, and it says off. Spartacus, get out of here. Come here, Spartacus. Get out of this. Sparty. My cat went in here. Oh, also, while we're in here, this is a radio transmitter I built. This was one of my first projects. My first video on TikTok was on this thing. So I transmitted a song from 1924 called Ain't You Ashamed? It goes do 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 do. But yeah, no, so I used that. Spartacus, can you get out of here? Get that cat. Come with Atticus. Daddy, that laser will burn holes and stuff. You shouldn't point that at things. Daddy, you're gonna burn my face off. Yes, watch. Let me show you.
I know.
My dad just tried to kill me with this laser. Let me show you what this laser does. Actually, just kidding, because I don't know where the matches are. Where in the heck? Daddy, where are the matches? Daddy.
I don't know if we have it.
Well, I had some yesterday. We seem to have lost the matches. I just had some yesterday. They were from Papa Do's.
I don't know what you did with them. What were you using them for yesterday?
I lit them with the laser. Okay, this Stephen Vine person, obviously I'm not planning on doing that. Now you can be quiet. Where did I put those? You know what? That's fine. That's fine. Because we're going to... Spotty. After I show y'all this, I'm going to show y'all a steam engine that I bought at an antique store. Ow. At an antique store. At least I think I'm going to show y'all this, because I don't know where I put these things. That's weird. I've lost these matches. So, instead, plan B, we're going to have to draw a black dot on a piece of paper. But now I have to find a pen. Ew, a pen. Or this Crayola doodad that I just picked up. What?
I think a chicken ran by.
Why?
Because all of a sudden you're wanting to burn a hole in
There have been many chickens running by. Okay, let me draw a black dot on this paper. You know what? There's already black on here from the ink. So what I'm going to show y'all is this laser. Bum, bum, bum. I will shine it on this black dot. Yes, yes. I really hope there's nothing important inside of this paper, because I just set it on fire. See that? But yeah, no, my dad was trying to burn me with that laser. Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm recording. Okay, now, I know, my dad tried to catch me on fire. Two can play the game. Anyway, let me show you my steam engine. So I bought this at an antique store. Is there water in here? Let me check this sight glass. Yeah, there's some water in there. Okay. So we're going to plug this in and let it heat up. This cord is full of asbestos. Look at all that. Okay, let me plug this in. Okay, it's plugged in. Now we wait. And I will answer questions while we wait. Can y'all hear me okay? I put my phone on the table. Does your dad have a gentleman's and ladies' chair set? No, he does not. He is a minimalist. I am a maximalist. That's not how you spell asbestos. It starts with an A. Where do you get most of your antiques? Facebook Marketplace. And I have never paid over $500 for any single antique. Well, with the exception of my dining room table, I think. No, I think I paid $300 for that. How long does it take to heat up? About 3 minutes. Wait on the side of the... Okay. You know Morse code? I need to work on it. But I do know SOS. It's dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. How much were the cars? So the Model T truck was $6,000. And it hadn't run in 2 years. So I got it running the next day, of course. And then the Model T Touring was $8,300. And then the Durant, which was my first car, was $16,000, I believe. Okay, let's see. I almost burned my face off. Yeah, a lot of people think all my stuff is crazy expensive, which is crazy because, like, I don't know. I don't know why people think that. I guess it just looks too nice. I don't know. Maybe because people actually cared about the stuff they built back then. My phone is about to die, I think. Okay, we're on 6%, so I'm going to go get my charger while we build steam. And I'm going to put you on the tripod. Spartacus! Excuse me, Daticus needs to get by. I need to plug in my phone. Oh, get the... Okay. Nope. There. We'll do it that way. And then we'll plug this in. Yes, perfect. Okay, I've plugged in my phone, so that's good. Okay. It seems that we have built... we haven't built enough. Why is that leaking? Spartacus, go away.
Do you know this car out front?
No, I don't. I'm not there.
Look at it.
I'm on a video.
Okay.
Is it old or something?
No. Just don't know who it is.
Okay. Now we're going to start this thing. Ugh, it just Where do water go? Okay, here we go. Why don't you make a mess? Okay. Really, Spartacus? There it is. We'll just unplug it now. I'm letting all the steam off of this thing. Anyway, this was a children's toy back in the day. And I mean, it's actually kind of smart because you would educate your children with toys like this so that they would understand things like this. Whereas nowadays it's like, oh, that's not safe. Don't give that to kids. Don't try that at home. So the kids can't learn. You have to burn your face off at least once to learn something. Like, well, that was a horrible example. But like, okay, for example, you touch a hot stove once and you learn. So anyway, with this, it would teach kids about steam engines and stuff, so they could like, understand steam engines from a young age, and then the creativity of childhood, you could build things and stuff. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's why people don't build things like that anymore today, because children don't play with toys like this. Anyway, okay, I think I'm going to go play another song on the piano, I think, and then I'll end this live. Or should I do the pump work? No, I'm doing the piano. Somebody waiting for Daticus on the piano. Here, scoot over. Daticus needs to play the piano. Come, my Spotty. My Spotty. There must be no way. loud. Bye. How do I do this? Okay. Bye.